Hi there and welcome to She Spice. Show is preparing between the projects of the hit television sitcom Kid Meets Reality, and its undulating impacts are being felt across web-based entertainment. Individuals never expected the once extraordinary satire show that illuminated most homes to hold on to an extremely dull mystery for nearly 20 years. However, there were reports around the time that nothing concrete was laid out, as the cast believed that the mystery was excessively delicate to uncover, measuring popular assessment and insights at the time. The show was doing great as individuals cherished the character's storyline and clever remarks. Viewership was additionally on the ascent as numerous individuals checked out suffocate their distresses and agony in attacks of giggling, so disclosing dim, delicate data, particularly one that been able to plunge the show's numbers, would have been a terrible move even after the show finished. The cast and group stayed quiet about everything, and not as mystery emerged. And when they were tested about the bits of gossip during interviews, they liked to stay hush, neither affirming nor denying the tales. However, now that the projects are completely developed and public opinions have changed, the cast has disclosed data that we recently believed were simple reports, and accept me, the disclosures are however dazzling as they seem to be irritating, so the thing were the reports continuing about the show. At that point, and what were the cast mem comments about them, I have the full significance here, and I'm prepared to spill everything out, so I guarantee you will watch till the end. Kid Meets World began broadcasting around 1993, with a plot that was based on Corey Matthews and his loved ones as he changed from youth to adulthood. The show ran for a considerable length of time and got designated in a few honor classifications, winning a couple of them. It was particularly well known with high school kids, as they thought that it was so engaging anyway, while the show was partaking in its time. At the center of attention, bits of gossip began spreading that a portion of the young people on the show were being tried by their old partners explicitly, a portion of the old male entertainers were purportedly exploiting the male youths on the set. These bits of gossip spread like quickly yet in those days, gay and homophobic points were hotcakes, and delicate more superstars who were closeted homos were currently letting out the unadulterated truth, a move that many commended, so the reports were taken with a spot of salt. Some even guessed that the tattle was sustained by homophobia to hold other gay superstars back from coming out, hence the tales were hidden where no one will think to look until 24 years, some other time, when the cast of the show uncovered the man's way of life as well as affirmed everything that was expressed. The man is Brian Peake, who showed up sparingly in the series during his stretch with the show. Look showed up as a foundation entertainer in season 6 and played the pet Arson Yuki in the 7th season. It was during that brief period that Look purportedly dedicated that detestable demonstration. 3 entertainers from the show, Wilfredo Ryder Solid and Danielle Pfizer, as of late seem to affirm what PI did on their new digital broadcast unit Meets World. The entertainers audited their relationship with Look when they acted close by him on the sitcom quite a while back. As per Friedel, he wasn't the active sort yet liked to spend time with Peake, in light of the fact had he introduced himself as the amusing, ecstatic sort. I didn't show up for parties, I didn't truly do that stuff. However, I was working significantly after Kid Meets World, and this person had so charmed himself into my life, I took him to 3 shows after Kid Meets World. Friedel said this was the kind of thing where the individual he introduced was this extraordinary entertaining person who was great at his specific employment, and you needed to spend time with, however obscure to him. Peck wasn't the slightest bit what he presented himself to be. He was a scheming, elusive snake undergrass who made a move to strike his casualty. However, Friedel didn't say whether he was a casualty. Many fans thought that Look had detestable expectations when he charmed himself into Friedel's life. Danielle Fishel then again doesn't remember having a cozy relationship with the 39-year-old Look anyway. She recognized that, however, Look's way of behaving was dubious. It was generally ignored in view of the uncontrolled homophobia that governed the 90s. She guaranteed that the seniors, who most likely saw PC's activities as ill-advised, were reluctant to support dread of being labeled homophobic, so Look seemed to pull off a large number of his activities and explanations. She made sense of different grown-ups on set who perhaps might have or ought to have said, for what reason are you all going to lunch with this person? For what reason is this person hitting up Ryder's home for a party? There was most likely a piece of them that didn't say it, since they were apprehensive it would have been taken as homophobia rather than this is a limit, gay or not. This is a limit about grown-ups and kids, Fishel said. Thus, I likewise believe that is significant in the tale of Ryder and Will about why he got To know you two so intently, subsequently Look had a breathing space to do however he wanted, as destiny would have it. Look was at last captured in 2003, 2 years after it was accounted for that he say a youth. As per reports, Look should mentor the fellow in acting, yet exploited that to commit the disgusting demonstration later. He was condemned to 16 months in jail for his wrongdoings, a term he has proactively served anyway. Friedel and Solid upheld Look while he was having to deal with the penalties at accepting that their companion was guiltless. They didn't have the foggiest idea about the man they upheld was a criminal who had a long history of exploiting youthful fellow. They just considered him to be a cordial chap who was being blamed for a wrongdoing he didn't carry out anyway. As it turned out, his cordial disposition, grinning face, and friendly character were each of the an exterior intended to trick everybody. They went to considerable lengths to make sense of on the web recording that they approved of PE being gay. However, they were shocked to discover that he exploited young people. What even intrigues his case more is that the entertainer actually got to work with youths after his conviction and stretch in jail. Explanations from the court didn't uncover the name of his casualty, but sources guaranteed that he was a maturing talent on Nickelodeon. As per the casualty, he didn't need his name showing up in the media for fear that it could adversely affect his profession and picture in Hollywood. The court records additionally uncovered that Brian Peake was training the kid at home when the episode occurred and was simply answered to the police by the guardians of the sprouting ability. He was summoned under the watchful eye of the court and accused of 11 counts. However, just 2 counts stuck, and the rest were excused anyway. After he was delivered in 2014, he went straight back to work. Finding open doors in a few Hollywood creations, he strolled around Hollywood without a consideration in his life, and was for the most part seen at frightfulness shows. This was on the grounds that the law just prohibited him from direct contact with the chap. Yet he might in any case work with them underway. What this implied was that he was unable to chase after them, as he used to welcome them out and charm himself into their lives. Yet he may as yet work with them. In a narrative named Loosely Held Bits of Information, the film Hollywood Doesn't Believe You Should See highlighted numerous casualties of individuals like Look, who exploited their situation for young people. Look himself was referenced in that narrative, but his casualty didn't consent to a meeting likely to safeguard his name and picture. A fast look through the IMDb page of the acting mentor uncovers a dismal picture. The entertainer has been working with young people since his conviction, and he has likewise worked on large financial plans. Creations, for example, X-Men and X-Men 2 with Brian Vocalist, another man who has had to deal with comparative penalties for exploiting adolescents. However, erring on that later, the indicted acting mentor additionally showed up on X-Men 1. 5 DVD discourse and is likewise credited on the Disney show The Sweet Existence of Zack and Cody from 2006 to 2007. Of every 2009, the sentenced criminal handled the job of an educator in the blood and gore film Quarantine set in a secondary school. In 2010, PEC looking for a decent job in the kids' film Jack and the Beanstalk as an exchange coat. Later in 2012, Look was utilized as a discourse coat on 22 episodes of the Charlie Sheen series. Outraged the board curiously Look had all the earmarks of being extraordinary companions with the parody entertainer. In a meeting with the site Love Ghastliness, PEC waxed melodiously about his fellowship with Charlie Sheen. He told the questioner that, as of now, I'm working with Charlie Sheen as a discourse mentor on his new sitcom, Outrage. The executives are having a ton of fun, and I revere Charlie anyway. It isn't clear whether every one of his bosses knew about his dim deeds prior to giving him business, or on the other hand, on the off chance that they just deliberately ignored many fans, except the last on the grounds that Brian Look's data isn't exceptionally characterized, but rather it is effectively accessible, and opening a fast inquiry on any web search tool would uncover his rap sheet. Inquisitively, his IMDb depiction records him as a served criminal for disregarding individuals put under his consideration. So it seems the makers might have ignored it despite everything that gave him work, particularly around youths. A couple of fans can't resist the urge to imagine that PC's gifts are unparalleled, and consequently, he's most likely awesome at his specific employment. Maybe he is, as it were, the entertainer to have been highlighted in every one of the pieces of the thriller The Living Dead. He loves the loathsomeness sort, and has been shot regularly, visiting numerous ghastly shows in 2015. The day-to-day Mail Online caught the entertainer making a beeline for a Hollywood ensemble shop beast to go for a sit-down interview with the Frightfulness specialty magazine. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.